This is day 3 of the Partner You Deserve challenge. Okay, so what did we do in day 1? What did we do in day 2? In day 1, we talked about some of the mistakes that we have been making as we go through the dating process. And we talked about some ways that we could correct it. And then so now we're getting into day 3, which day 3 is talking about how to lower our guard, right? So sometimes the issue is that we're making some mistakes. Sometimes the issue is we don't know how to correct those mistakes. So we talked about how to correct, that was yesterday. And then now that we've corrected some of the errors that we're making, poor errors in judgment, working on becoming better versions of ourselves, and we feel like we're healthy enough to get back on the scene. We feel like we are, quote unquote, deserving of what we say that we want, but then we still might have some fears. There may be some fears that are holding us back. There may be some walls that we have begun to build that were holding us back or are holding us back from being found by the partners that we deserve. So that is what we're discussing today. I also like to call it the sit back or the sit back, sit down. I mix it up. It's a sit in there. So as you guys may remember, if you were here for day 1 or day 2, we talked about the SSS approach. So that is the methodology that I use in my coaching program with my clients in the program called The Partner You Deserve, to teach them how to get back on the dating scene. So step 1 in the SSS approach was to be self-reflective. What are some of the mistakes that you have been making in terms of your discernment, AKA your picker? What are some of the mistakes that you have been making in terms of not making the effort of putting yourself out there socially, either both online and offline? We've been talking about and how to correct those behaviors that we recognize might be problematic or difficult, because we don't want to make dating any more difficult than what it needs to be. We don't want to be the contributing or a contributing factor to some of the difficulties that we face. And so what was potentially some personality or behaviors that we're exhibiting? So that was day 1. Day 2, we talked about how are we going to change those behaviors? What specifically are we going to do? What kind of plan of action can we put into place? And we really dug deep in the Q&A. So if you're joining us on Instagram land, if you want to see the slides, I worked so hard on 2 hours today, worked so hard on to perfect and to update from the last time I did this challenge, then I want you to click the link in my bio, and you are going to go to 4-day challenge. It's free. You're going to enter in your name, your phone number, and your email address. You're going to get an email that says important, click here to subscribe, something like that. Once you click that, then you will get the link. I had a whole bunch of people. I love y'all. I love y'all. Had a whole bunch of people DMing me, Alison, I never got the link. I checked, their email's typed wrong. We ain't going to get it if the email's wrong. So make sure you're typing that correctly. Or I checked and they didn't click that they accept their, I guess, their right to get emails from me. I don't know if you guys are aware, but you can't just, as a business, you can't just send emails. You need to get the person's permission. So that's what it says. It says confirm. Once you click that, then you will get all the links that you need in order to join us here live. If somebody on Instagram, before you leave Instagram and join us in Zoom, can you do me a favor? I intended to do it when I started. Can you put the following statement in the comments so that I can pin it? Because I don't want to waste any more time. No shade, but talking to Instagram when the people who signed up and did what they were supposed to do are here in Zoom with me. So do me a favor on Instagram land. Can you please type join us in the 4-day challenge? Click the link in her bio. Join us in the 4-day challenge. Click the link in her bio. Join us in the 4-day challenge. Click the link in her bio, and you are going to be able to see 4-day challenge. You put your name, your phone number, your email, let it refresh after 2 minutes. You're going to get an email that says important, accept the subscription, something like that. You click on that, and then the email will come 2 minutes after that, and then we will let you in. And I paid for extra seats for y'all, so there's no reason why you can't be, you won't be able to get in today. All right, so let us jump right in. For those who are in Zoom land, you're prepared, you're ready, you did your homework. As I promised, your homework is going to be a culmination. So we're going to add all of that up, and we're going to apply it tomorrow, like we in church. We're going to apply it on tomorrow. So it's something that accumulates over time, and we're going to apply it when we get into the nuts and bolts of how to navigate dating effectively. A lot of you guys who are new might be asking questions. I even saw in the comments yesterday, what's a good app for somebody in DC? Y'all not listening. I love y'all. You're not listening, right? It's not about what's a good app for somebody in DC. It's not about what's a good app for somebody in LA. It's not about what's a good app for somebody in Chicago. It's about getting clear on exactly what you want, learning the skills of discernment, how to fix your picker, working on becoming the best version of you, and then positioning yourself. Y'all jumping ahead of the game. You're putting the cart before the horse. And that's why we continue to be in the same ruts and fall into the same cycles over and over again, because we keep putting the cart before the horse. Where is the work on you? Where is the clarity from you? If someone were to ask you, and you would actually never tell someone, if you're whoever you're dating, someone of opposite sex, same sex, whoever you're interested in, you'd never tell this. But if I were to ask you, if I saw you on the street, what are your non-negotiables? You should be able to spit them. If I were to ask you, well, what questions do you ask so that you can assess whether or not someone's a good fit? You should be able to spit that. If I ask you, what behaviors are you paying attention to in order to assess if someone's a good fit? You should be able to spit that. If I ask you, well, what were some problematic behaviors that you've exhibited in the past in your former relationships? You should be able to spit that. If I ask you, well, what work have you put in order to change those behaviors so that you're showing up as the best version of yourself? What am I going to say? You should be able to spit that. Then we could talk about apps. You going into the kitchen, you ain't got no ingredients. I can tell you the best apps on earth, but if you ain't do all that other work, all the foundational work that we just talked about, you're going to end up in the same cycle. Or I'll tell you which apps are a good app. You say, I've already been on it. It doesn't work. It doesn't work for you because you did not do the work that we just discussed. So I'm glad for those who have joined us in the challenge today. We're going to go ahead and start on the presentation. And just like day one and day two, we will allot a good amount of time. I believe I answered everyone's question yesterday. I think I was one short on Monday. And then I'm going to answer everyone's questions, make sure I have enough time to answer everyone's questions on Thursday as well. I don't want anyone to feel left out or to feel like a stone was left unturned. Okay, so let us jump right into this thing here. So just as a reminder for anyone who is joining the challenge brand new today, I saw there was some people who were absolutely brand new. Welcome, welcome. I have to do this. I know you're thinking, oh my God, Alison, like, yes, we know you help women get found by the partners that they deserve. We hear this every day. Well, some people don't. There's 74,000 of you and one of me, and I'm looking at the views and some of y'all ain't seeing it. So I got to remind you. And there was a coach who I'm so thankful. She's such a genius. I always tell you guys I have over 100 testimonials, but Instagram does not allow more than 100 highlights in your stories. The highlights on the top of your page. So I started deleting some, and she's like, girl, just make another highlight. Duh. So I made another highlight. So now I'm going to keep ranting and raving about my 107, 108, 109, 110 as they grow. This is another example. It says, I love this and you. I took your advice, followed my heart, recognized my value, and fell in love. Thank you. Another testimonial said, I never really fully updated you, but I got engaged last July and I had a baby literally 2 weeks ago. And yes, I still follow you for your insight and wisdom. We're planning a wedding for sometime in 2024. I did not type this. These are screenshots of DMs, and mostly DMs that I get, sometimes emails, text messages, because my clients have my direct phone number. So they reach out to me however, whenever, to give me the tea. Okay. One of my clients said, he asked me to be exclusive, says he doesn't commit this soon usually, but he can't help himself. Thank you. Somebody on my live said, I have a boyfriend because I went through Alison's program, getting closer to 2 years. All right. Someone else. I hope you are well. This is, and I blocked out her name. She said she worked in the coaching program alongside somebody else, and I blocked out her name. And I just wanted to let you know that I've been in an exclusive relationship since November. We met online. And in person in October, and we became exclusive in November. When they know, they know, right? And then more rings and tings. I like my rings and tings. Okay, so that is the work that I do. What are we discussing specifically today? So today, in day 3 of the 4-day challenge, we're discussing how to lower your defensive walls to let love in. So this is based on the presumption that you have outlined exactly what you're looking for in a partner and a partnership. You have those non-negotiables. You have all the questions that you should be asking. You have all the behaviors you should be paying attention to in order to see if someone is a good fit for you. Day 2. talking about what are some of the things that you should be doing. So you're working on yourself. So you're showing up as the best version of yourself, not only for you, but for the partner that you claim that you deserve. You want somebody that's this high up, then you need to show up and be equivalent, right? Now I asked somebody on Instagram to write this thing for me, and then I just kept talking like I always do. So let me scroll back and make sure to see if somebody loves me. Nope, there, y'all ain't listen. Y'all ain't listen. So I'm gonna ask y'all on Instagram again. Can somebody on Instagram? Oh, you just did it for me?
Yeah, I commented as your account.
Oh, maybe that's why I scrolled past it. I didn't recognize it. I don't see it. But then can you pin it for me, Versant, since you can see it? Everybody, this is Versant. She's my virtual assistant. In case you're new and you haven't heard from her, that is the amazing Versant. Yeah, because I don't see it. So, you know, my husband just joined, and I hope he can hear me. He got the baby out there. So if you can't pin it for me on Instagram, I'm going to ask Andrew, baby love, if you can hear me, or if you just join with the mute on so you can show like you're being supportive, can you put day 3 of the free challenge? Click the link in her bio to join. Day 3 of the free challenge, click the link in her bio to join. Day 3 of the free challenge, click the link in her bio to join, okay? Or Versant, like I said, I'm not sure, he has the baby, so I'm not sure if he's gonna be able to do that. All right.
Yep.
So we did all of the work, figuring out what we want, getting clear about what we want, figuring out how to build our discernment, figuring out how to ask the right questions. For those who are in my coaching program, you don't have to figure it out. I give all of that to you. All you need is a pen and a paper and to take the notes as I say it to you and repeat it over and over again. But in the challenge, you've written all that out. You know what behaviors to pay attention to. You've done the work on becoming the best version of you. And then so now we're talking about how are we lowering our defensive walls to let love in. I know what I want. I know how to figure it out. I've worked on becoming the best version of me. By the way, does not necessarily include a whole bunch of money or a whole bunch of degrees, right? Now, thanks, babe. Pin comment, excellent. So everybody who comes to Instagram knows where to go. So how do I lower those defensive walls? I have fears, I have concerns, Alison. I don't want to just let anybody in. Like, I think I know what I want. I think I know how to assess it, but I'm still afraid. So what do I do? All right, so we talked about self-reflection was that first day. What are we looking for? What do we need? What are the requirements? We kind of figured that out with Q&As, and some folks are putting some things that are not requirements. What are the requirements? What do I need? What's a must for me? What are some of the things I need to do to work on me so I'm showing up as the best version of me? Step up. How am I going to do it? How am I going to fix it? How am I going to work on me? And then the sit down, that's what we're talking about today. Sitting back, lowering those walls and allowing people in. Okay, that's what we're talking about. The sit down, sitting back and allowing love in a healthy and safe way. So the first thing we have to do is we have to prioritize. Okay. Sometimes I use the word just, and I'm going to apologize in advance because I don't even like the word just do this or just do that. If it were that simple, everybody would do it. So I apologize in advance if I use the word just. That's not my intention, and I will try to correct it. But you have to prioritize. You have to decide for yourself what are the musts. We talked about this a little bit yesterday. People say, well, I love my peace. I'm so accustomed to being alone. And okay, cool. I don't want to take the risk. Okay, cool. So you have to decide what outweighs the other. Is my peace, my quote unquote peace that I don't want to risk being disturbed, because guess what? If you choose the right partner, your peace will only be continued and furthered, right? But the risk of losing your peace, because I don't want to disrupt my peace. That's not what you're doing when you choose the right one. When you choose the wrong one, it's a disruption of peace, right? So don't make it seem like it's synonymous. Don't make it seem like automatically once you get a partner, now your peace is disrupted. If you choose the wrong one, your peace is disrupted, which is why we go back to day 1 and day 2. Nonetheless, we have to prioritize. We have to make a choice. What is your number 1 priority? Is your number 1 priority maintaining this peace and not taking a risk? If that's your number 1 priority, you already made a decision and it's all good and that's it. And you're happy to be the rich aunt, and you're going to travel the world, and you are going to be a-okay by yourself. But we can't say, I want love, I deserve, I want, but then you're not willing to take a risk. You got to take a risk, right? We go to college, you take a risk. You could spend X amount of thousands of dollars and then get this degree and then never get a job in that field. You could go to college and never finish, right? You took a risk. It's a calculated risk, but a risk nonetheless. Everything that we say that we want, we're risking something. We're risking something. We're giving up something in exchange for another. We're giving up money. We're giving up time, but we're giving up something. So at the end of the day, you have to prioritize and say, well, what's the most important thing to me? I saw someone in my comments say, Alison, I work 2 jobs, or even somebody, a part of my Future Wives Club, the private Facebook group. She said, oh, I work 2 jobs. And so I just don't know if I have the time. Well, you're going to choose. You're going to make a choice. You have to decide for yourself. You have to prioritize. If you have a specific financial goal that you need to have 2 jobs for, okay, you're going to create that budget. You're going to figure out how long it's going to take for you in order to get to that goal. Maybe it's paying off your student loans or paying off a car or getting the money for a down payment for a house, whatever that looks like. You're going to figure out how long you're going to have to work the 2 jobs in order to acquire the amount that you need to meet your goal. Then you need to quit that job because you can't have both. And I know that most people like to tell you can have it all. You're going to have to sacrifice something. You're going to have to sacrifice something. My lash tech, amazing tech, super professional, lovely lady. She is not happy with the size of her studio, the price of her studio, and the location of her studio. She's not happy with the size. She's not happy with the price. She's not happy with the location. She says she wants something that's bigger for less and closer to home. She wants something bigger for less money in New York City and closer to home. So what would I say? Some things got to give. So you can get it closer to home and larger, but you're going to pay more money. You can get it smaller for less, and maybe it's closer to home. Maybe you'll get it for smaller and cheaper, but it's further away. You're not going to get everything. So you need to prioritize and decide what are the absolute musts. If you're going to say, I'm going to put dating on hold right now because it's really important to me that I finish my degree, cool. If you say, I'm going to prioritize dating right now, so that means that I'm going to quit the second job because I don't need 2 jobs. I want 2 jobs because I enjoy the extra money. Cool. But what you're not going to do is say, I want to work 2 jobs and I don't want to dedicate any time to go outside and socialize. And I refuse to get on dating apps, but then love is going to fall into my lap. Nope. Nope. Doesn't work that way. So you have to choose what you're prioritizing in the moment. And it doesn't have to be love. And that's okay. It doesn't have to be romantic relationships right now. And that's okay. Create your plan and make a choice. But the teetering back and forth is what's going to get you making no decision, right? Analysis paralysis. You're analyzing, you're figuring out, how can I hustle this? How can I figure that? How can I circumvent? And then you get nowhere. So whatever your priority is, it's cool. You make your choice and then you move forward with an action plan and you get what you want so that you can move on to the next priority. Okay. It's also important that you have to gleam with confidence. So we're talking about lowering that wall, right? So how do we lower the wall? How do we sit back and allow love to come back in? Number 1 is going to be prioritizing, making the choice and saying, if we so choose, if you're on this Zoom with me, if you're on this live with me, I'm assuming that you're prioritizing love, that you're willing to take the calculated risk. Calculated meaning that you've learned everything that we've talked about for the last 2 days. So you're going in prepared into the dating scene and not blindly. You know what you need to work on. You know what you're looking for. You know which dating apps are the right ones for you. You know where to position yourself in person. That's a calculated risk. It's not just a risk. Okay. So how do we fall back? How do we chill? How do we relax? How do we allow love back in? First of all, we have to make a choice and say we prioritized it. Okay. That's number 1. We have prioritized it. Number 2, we need to up the confidence. I have the capability to do this. As I shared with you guys before, as long as you believe that you can't, you are absolutely right. As long as you believe that you can, you are absolutely right. As long as I believe I cannot lose the weight, I am right. Why? Because I am not going to diet. I'm not going to exercise. I'm not going to calorie count. I'm not going to do any of the work necessary to get it because I don't believe it can happen. My hormones, my lifestyle, the baby, whatever it is, I'm going to come up with excuses. Right? And I'm not going to see the nutritionist and I'm not going to hire the fitness trainer because I don't believe I can lose weight. Oh, I'm going to be 37. What's that stuff that slows down? My thing is slowing down. I can't do it. Okay. So I'm telling the truth. I can't. If I tell you guys that I can, I'm going to do the diet. I'm going to do the exercise. I'm going to count the calories. I'm going to go to a nutritionist to get a nutrition plan. I am going to hire the fitness trainer and be there at 6 o'clock every morning and get some braids and pray for me, right? I'm going to do the work and I'm going to get the result. So you need to up your confidence. You have the capability to do this. If you've learned what we talked about in day 1 and day 2, then you have the skills in order to be successful, in order to have a calculated risk that you win, okay? You need to up your confidence that you are worthy and deserving. If there's anybody who thinks that they're not worthy of love, of affection, of attention, you are lying to yourself. And I'm going to tell you this lovingly, you probably cannot correct that on your own. Trust me, we are in a surgery world where people are constantly nipping and tucking and feel worse than they did before they even started. So building confidence is not something I would recommend that you not try. I mean, you can try, but let's get some help. And I don't know about y'all. I don't know if y'all uppity like me, but I'm paying. I pay my way because I know that I have a capacity. I know that I have a skill set. I know that I have a zone of genius. My zone of genius is talking to y'all. That is what I'm good at. My zone of genius is analyzing a problem and coming up with a resolution and then executing. My zone of genius is not diet plans. My zone of genius is not spending hours Googling which workouts I should be doing in order to lift my butt and lose the inches on the waist. That is not my zone of genius. So I'm not going to invest the time, effort, and energy. I'm going to pay the person whose zone of genius it is in order to help me fix it. All right. I'm going to be starting my podcast in 2 weeks, right? I could get a studio for dirt cheap, learn the keyboard, the lighting, right? Or I can pay for the package that includes the engineer and I stay in my zone of genius. My zone of genius is coming up with my topics, making my cue cards, right? And the gift of the gab. That is my zone of genius. My zone of genius is not laptops and headphones and how do I connect my phone to my Google Voice number so when people call in for the show, then I'm going to be able to tune them in and hear them. And then that's not my zone of genius. So I'm paying my money. I'm sticking with what I'm good at. This is what I'm good at. This is what I do. I'm going to milk this until the milk goes dry and then use this in order to get to the other places I need to be. Okay. So building that confidence, however you need to build it, whatever it is that's causing you to not feel as confident. If it's braces, pay for it. Stop playing. Stop playing. If it's skincare, pay for it. Stop playing. Go to the dermatologist. Like, there's no reason in this day and age with the technology that we have, if there's something that you're not feeling confident about, that you're not doing what you need to do in order to correct it or paying someone else who's figured it out to do it for you. Make it happen. Okay. So how else are you going to sit back? How else are you going to allow love back into your life? Very easy. It's right here. Just have fun. Just have fun. What does that mean? What your interests are? Oh, I just realized what that girl is smoking. Let me tell you, I was in Canva making this and I put Black woman cigar. And now I see what she's smoking. I do not indulge y'all. Don't judge me. Okay. Do what you like to do. You like to dance, go to dance classes. You like to box, go to boxing classes, go to the gym. You like to ride bikes. You like to ski. You like to skydive. You like to travel. You like to go to musical performances. You love live music. Have fun. Go to the places that you would normally go anyway. Not only is that going to bring you happiness because it's what you enjoy doing, period, but then you're also going to be mixing with like-minded people that already have a similar interest to yours. So now the conversation is going to be so easy when you're at the cigar bar. I shouldn't even use that because I don't know anything about cigars. You're at the cigar bar and then there's a gentleman who pulls up next to you and then the two of you are debating which cigars are better, Cuban cigars or Venezuelan cigars. You already have something in common. You already have an interest that's similar, right? So you go to the gym and you know that you're working out because this is what you enjoy doing, right? There's a gentleman who's there and then he, which is sometimes annoying unless we like the guy, is trying to tell you how to use the machine and you know how to use it better than he does, right? You like to bike ride. There are plenty of bike riders. You like to run. I have friends who are multi-time, I don't even know what you call it, marathoners. Do what you enjoy doing. It is not only going to bring you joy and relaxation and peace, but it's going to put you in a position to socialize with like-minded people. Now, the only slight caveat that I would put to that is if what you love to do is seen as in society extremely feminine, then I don't want you to indulge too much, i.e. something like cooking, right? Even though the best chefs around the world are male, right? You go to a class here and there, I don't want you like jumping out the window because Alison said. However, who else could you meet in the cooking class? Somebody's sister, somebody's cousin, somebody's mother. For the ladies who are in my Future Wives Club, my private Facebook group, every 3 days, I'm popping in events from across the country. Just yesterday, I popped in a beautiful library that's located in Chicago, Illinois. And I said, if there's anybody who works from home, go to this library to do your work. Why? Because you're then forced to be around others. You're socializing. Now, is your husband necessarily going to show up at the library? No, his mother could, his sister could, his cousin could, his coworker can. And when engaging in conversation with you, they say, you know, my brother, my friend, my I think you guys would get along so well. You're so alike. Would you be interested in me making a connection? Do the things that you like to do anyway. Not only will it bring you joy and relaxation and peace, which will allow you to relax, but then when you're meeting like-minded people, it would allow for some of those walls to fall because you're not thinking, oh, this man is only talking to me because no, we're both here at the cigar bar. We both have an interest, so it's reasonable. It makes sense. We're both bike riders and we both happen to be on the trail. Maybe I tripped over. He helped me up with my bike. It will help you to lower your guard because it's not that he's approaching you on a dating app. It's not that he's coming up to you in the club. The both of you are enjoying an activity that you authentically enjoy. And so your guard is already going to be lowered because you're in a space that you legitimately enjoy. If there's anybody who's going to tell me in the comments, Alison, I'm too busy, I'm going to go back to this. I don't have time to have fun. Well, then again, and I say this lovingly, then you're not prioritizing love, which is okay, but just be honest with that and say it's not a priority right now. I'm putting it on the shelf. I'll get back to it when I finish blank. Okay? Having fun is going to lower your inhibition. It's going to link you with like-minded people. It's going to open up your circle so you're introducing yourself to new people that you normally wouldn't have an opportunity to meet. You're finding joy by just being there, period. Just have fun. Okay, but I know you guys still have your doubts. You still have your concerns. You still have your questions. You kind of believe me, you know, kind of do, kind of don't. You're still thinking about, oh, Alison, yeah, I'm going to go to the cigar bar and I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to go and, you know, bird watch and the things I like to do. I'm going to do all that, but ain't no quality guys anyway, or I don't want to have to start over. Can I just go back to my toxic ass ex who cheated on me and got some chick pregnant, but she didn't keep the baby? I'm gonna tell you the answer to that is no up front, okay? Or you feel like you don't have control over your love life. I really want to hone in on number 3, the third bullet on this slide, the lack of control over your love life. People say, Alison, you constantly compare romance to or successful relationships to every other success that we've had in our life, the success that we've had with our business, the success that we've had with our degrees, the success that we've had with our fitness, the success that we have with purchasing our own home or credit or whatever. And that's not the same thing, because I am the one who's in control of my credit. I am the one who's in control of my degree. I am the one who's in control of the progression in my career. I have 100% control. So of course, I can be successful in that because it doesn't depend on anybody else. But romantic relationships depends on a second party. And so it's not the same. It's an unfair comparison. I don't know if y'all been saying that. It's a logical thing to say if you haven't been, right? And let me tell you how I'm going to correct that. And I'm going to check you, boo, right now. There is nothing in your life. There is nothing in your life that you have achieved 100% on your own. Nothing. That degree that you got, you had some professors who looked out for you, who gave you an extension, maybe some who liked you, who thought you were cute, who gave you a little extra points, who gave you an extension to do the project, who they call it over tally in CUNY, the City University of New York. Over tally let you into a course that was already closed, who allowed you to walk when you had no business walking, who liked you in an interview, and so they gave you the internship, which allowed you to have extra money so that you can even pay for your courses. You had a supervisor who liked you, and so they pushed you along a little bit more than what they would have the average person, right? You've had your parents who allowed you to live in their home rent-free while you went to college, because had you not had your parents, you would have had to work, and maybe you wouldn't have got that degree. There's been someone who has been a part of your success, every single success that you have had. You've had some kind of support system, somebody, some way. So this idea that the things you have achieved in your life, you have 100% on your own, is just not true. It may have been a 70-30, but it's just not true. So just as you needed the support of the right people, and you've chosen to have the right people, you socialize with the right people, you kept a relationship with loving parents, all of those things in order to be where you are right now, is the same thing that you're going to do in your love life. You just have to choose wisely. You just have to choose wisely, either with the information that I've shared here, or by joining me or any coach in a coaching program, whoever you think is the best fit. You know, I always say that to y'all. Okay, so you do have control over your love life. The question is making better choices, working on becoming the best version of you, and then lowering those walls so you can allow the right person in, so you are not the one who is sabotaging your relationships. Okay, that's how it works. I know y'all doubting, oh, I'm 37, I'm 38, I'm 39, I'm 40, I'm 41, I'm 42, I'm 46. I really want to have children biologically if possible, and I just don't think it's going to happen for me. You have these myths that are in our society and our culture that you have to dim your light in order for men to love or appreciate you, right? You have these myths that you have to struggle first in order for you to be successful in a healthy relationship. These are some of the myths that are attached, that struggle love that we talk about, right? You think, I don't have control over my love life, or I don't have time to date. Yes, you sure do. You're not prioritizing it, which is okay, right? Or something is wrong with me, and that's why I can't get to the committed relationships that you desire. There is nothing wrong with you. None of us are perfect. There is room for growth and improvement, but there is nothing intrinsically wrong with you. It's something that you can work on and improve if you prioritize it. And if you're honest with yourself to say, YouTube can only get me so far, podcasts can only get me so far, self-help books can only get me so far. And if it is enough and you've been able to break through and be successful, great. But for some of us, we need more support. I can Google as many workout plans and as many diet plans as possible. I'm not going to execute. I went to the supermarket today. I saw some Pepperidge Farm cookies. I was just about to buy it. I stayed strong until I got to the register. And you know what I saw at the register? Chocolate bars. And I got weak and I bought the chocolate bar. I don't have it. I need someone to yell at me. I need someone who's going to do a weigh-in. I need someone who's going to give me a strategic plan, a diet plan or a meal plan. I need someone that I have to get to the gym at 6 o'clock on time because they're waiting on me, and I will play myself. I will disappoint myself and not go to the gym. What I won't do is disappoint somebody else. What I won't do is waste someone else's time. What I won't do is waste my money. You have to know your zone of genius. You have to know where your strengths are, and you have to be honest about your weaknesses. And at some point you have to say, I need more and I deserve more. I need more and I deserve more. Because if I am not investing in myself, then who will invest in me? And why would they? If I'm not investing in myself, then who's going to invest in me, and why would or should they? You do have control. You do have the time. This is the truth. And there's nothing intrinsically wrong with you. You can craft the life that you want. You literally can craft it. Most of us are in America or in other countries that allow for opportunities. You can create the life that you want, right? And sometimes we use the word manifestation, create, flow, abundance, intention, believe, whatever term, focus, whatever term you want to use, right? Manifestation is not about, the moon aligned with the stars and stones and all that jewels and whatever crystals. It's not about that. It's about, I have a desire. I'm willing to put in the work. I have created an action plan. I have the desire. I'm willing to do the work. I've created an action plan and I'm going to execute it. And you actually do it. That's how you manifest the life that you want. That's how you manifest the life that you want. Okay. So I want to tell you guys an example of one of my clients, and then we're going to move on to Q&A. I had a client, she's a doctor, beautiful, obviously well-established. I mean, she's paid off a lot of her debt. She's doing well for herself, right? And she was in this relationship with this gentleman. And I was going to tell you what he does for a living, but I don't want to start a debate of all debates. I'm going to tell y'all, and y'all can tear me up if you want to. He was the manager at Burger King. Okay. Take what you want with that information, right? In this relationship, and this gentleman had the audacity to not take next steps with her in terms of engagement, marriage, children, home ownership, things of that nature. All right. And she came to me like, what's the problem? Like, I don't understand what the problem is. So I broke the problem down in 4 parts. This is why you hire a professional, because they're able to zoop, 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 zoop. She continuously kept, it wasn't only him. She continuously chose mates who were unwilling to commit. She's not asking qualifying questions. She's not paying attention to behaviors. She's not looking at patterns in the past. She's continuously choosing people who are unwilling to commit. And not necessarily to her, because the first step is, are you willing to commit? The first step is, do you believe in the institution of marriage? The second step is, do you want to commit to me? The second step is he willing to marry me? But if these people don't even believe in commitment, they don't desire commitment, they don't believe in the institution of marriage, they don't desire marriage, then you need to learn how to discern so that you don't even go past date number 1. And that's what I do with my clients. I teach them how to figure this out potentially before they go on the first date, if not by the end of their first date. So that was doctor's problem number 1. Number 2, she was choosing people based on potential and not reality. We have to date people based on how they show up in our faces right now. We cannot date people based on what we think they're going to do or how they're going to perform. Are there a few times where we misjudge? Perhaps we let someone go and then they end up blowing up? Yes. There are so many more times where that doesn't happen, where the bum who was a bum is always a bum. Very rarely does it. He was a bum, so you didn't mess with him, and then now he's balling. Very rarely. Okay? You have to date people based on who they are in front of you right now. Number 3, she willfully chose projects. She didn't think so, subconsciously enjoyed building people up. Maybe it's the doctor, the healer in her. You choose these projects, right? And then the last piece of what her problem was is that she hated starting over and over again. I don't want to, can I just fix this? Sometimes the car cannot be fixed. Sometimes you've driven the car until the wheels have fallen off. And now it's time for you to buy another car. And what you should have done is you should have turned that car in before the wheels fell off, so you could have had some money on it so that you could have put it towards the next vehicle. But no, you drove it till the wheels fell off, and then now you have the audacity to fix the wheels again. It doesn't work like that. It can't work like that. So this was the 4 issues that my doctor client faced, okay? So how do we fix these mistakes? How do we erase the mistakes? How do we undo what we've done, right? Because we're in this cycle over and over again. She did not see it. She needed someone to be able to break it down in a way that she could understand and appreciate. And so then we can start to correct those behaviors. So how did she do it? Number 1, she booked the consultation call with me. And I was able to break down, this is the problem, right? And so now how are we going to resolve it? So the consultation call is by going to bookalison.com. It's 15 minutes and it costs you a whopping $1. Wow. I will ask you to actually read the form before you submit it, but that is your calculated risk, $1. And I was able to tell her, this is your problem, blah, 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 blah. This is how you solve it, blah, 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 blah. But I will be transparent with you. You guys know I am painfully transparent, probably so honest, it may hurt me or hurt my business. I'm going to tell you what your problem is, and I'm going to tell you how to solve it in the 15 minutes. And guess what? Many of you won't be able to take that information and execute it on your own. The joke is that many of you already know what I'm about to tell you. You just need somebody else to say it to you. That's the joke. Many of you already have the answers, Sway. You just don't know how to correct it, or you need someone who's on your behind, who's going to hold you accountable, who's going to give you daily homework, weekly homework, check-ins, who you talking to, what dates you went on, who you went out with, where did you go? That wasn't the right place. Here's another place. Send you places. This is how you find it. That's what you need. But you already got the answers. You just need somebody who's going to help you execute. Okay? And so if what we've been talking about for the last 3 days has been an eye-opener, and you feel empowered, and you recognize that you do want the partner that you deserve, and you deserve all, but you may be overwhelmed and can't do it on your own, then this is an opportunity for you to get in before I close my coaching program until the winter. I've been preaching to you guys, and I hope that you've been seeing it online, that relationships are built in the spring and the summer. That's when people are the most joyous. That's when they're going out the most socially. That's when they have the most time. The most joyous, the most time. And they're going out the most. This is the time. The time is not, and I've been doing this for 3 years, y'all, and it happens every single time. The time is not October when it's cold and it's dark. The time is not November when it's Thanksgiving. Everybody's pressing you about where's your man and where's that nice boy that was here last year. The time is not December when it's Christmas and you're scrolling through your timeline and you're seeing everybody with their matching PJs. And now you're sad because it's another year you don't have your matching PJs. Y'all, and I say this lovingly, y'all forget how y'all felt. And that was 6 months ago. I remember how y'all felt. I know I engaged with people the entire 26th of December talking about how they felt. I didn't forget. But y'all do because the weather's good and the hookah's nice and the rooftop party is popping and the frozen drinks are going. And then we come back to this same cycle again. January is not the time when people are kissing at New Year's. February is not the time when he asks you on a date, it's your first date and it's 3 days before Valentine's Day. So is he your Valentine? Is he not? Spring and summer is the time, I'm telling you. And for those who have registered for the challenge, I have a huge discount for you. If you go ahead and go to bookalison.com, you book your consultation. Please read the form before you press submit. And I have a huge discount for you, okay? So now we're gonna open the floor up to Q&A. Only those who are on the Zoom, are going to be allowed to ask questions. And I hopefully will be able to answer every single person's question who feels comfortable sharing. I do require that you unmute. I am not in a position to read the comments of your questions because I've been talking straight for the last 46 minutes. So I like to give myself a little bit of a break. So I do ask if there are those who have a question to raise your hand so that I can see you, unmute you, and you can give me a little bit of a breaky break by you sharing your brief question. One question that is brief, okay? The first person's hand who is up, their name is under iPhone. And you have a blue box.
I think that might be me.
Yes, that is you. Hello.
Hi, my name is Carissa. I just wanted to know, do you support like dating multiple people at a time?
Yes. That is a method that I highly recommend, and I'm going to tell you why. I would imagine for most people are busy. So a roster of 2 to 3 would be appropriate. Anything more than that is probably not practical. Like you probably just could not keep up with those, anything more than 2 or 3. And the reason why I recommend dating more than one person at a time, that is not sex. Dating meaning going out and spending quality romantic time with someone who is a romantic interest. That is a date. We're doing an activity together to get to know each other romantically. That activity should not be sex, at least not more than one person at a time, okay? But dating more than one person at a time. I recommend it because we do not want to put all of our eggs in one basket. So if I'm only going out with Timothy, and then Timothy ghosts me, or we just have a conversation where I recognize he's an inappropriate match because I've learned all of the discernment, all the questions to Alison, give me all the questions to ask. I know the behaviors. I liked him. I finally asked this question. I've been a little nervous. I finally asked about if he wanted kids. I finally asked about what his thoughts are on marriage. I finally asked about his beliefs around gender roles and how would he contribute to the household other than money. And the answer wasn't what I wanted to hear. I don't want to have to be like, damn, now I'm going back in the dating scene and starting all over again. This is why I want a lineup, a roster, whatever you would call it. 2 to 3 is reasonable. And I'm going to say again, I'm not suggesting that you're having sex with all of these people for your own health and safety, but having quality, in-depth conversations on the phone, texting, and going out once a week in order to assess who is an appropriate match. And within less than 3 months, if you're following the program, you're asking the right questions, you are paying attention to behaviors, you should be able to assess who you keep and who's out. And a lot of times they'll dismiss themselves too, especially if you're coming with those questions. And what we're doing is not an interview, right? We want people to feel comfortable, but at the same time, they still will feel pressure if they don't want what you want. They're going to pick up what you're putting down. And when they realize that you are a woman who's dating with intention, if that's not what they want to, many times they'll dismiss themselves. They call it ghosting. It's rude, but goodbye, sir. So absolutely. Thank you for that question.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bethany?
Hi, Allison. This is Bethany. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
So I'm going to ask this question for a friend of mine. She's currently in grad school and wants a relationship. She has a potential mate, and she wants to know any tips on how she can successfully enter a potential relationship and still be able to focus on her degree.
Okay. Does she have children?
No.
And is her work very demanding? 60 hours a week, like overwhelming?
No, she's in a master's program, no work.
Okay, so get a calendar, etch out the time. No work, girl, she's lucky. Etch out the time that she's studying for her program and her papers and her essays and whatever, maybe state exams. Etch out the time for her partner, make sure, or potential partner, make sure he's in agreement. Is he okay with every Saturday? Is he okay with every Thursday? And let's go. She got it easy. No kids, no job. All she has to do is get a calendar and make sure that he's okay and understands that once the program ends, that she would be able to dedicate more time to him.
So time management, got it.
Yep, time management, that's it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Tamika?
Hi, Allison.
Hi.
My ultimate goal, pretty much like everyone in here, is a healthy, happy, long-term relationship, preferably resulting in marriage. But what I'm struggling with is that my last relationship ended pretty badly. It was a 3-year-long relationship that essentially ended with me getting ghosted and him turning up with a new girlfriend shortly thereafter.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm struggling with is trying to figure out, how do I know that I am healed enough to the point where it's okay and safe for me to pursue another relationship? That was a little bit over a year ago, and I still have trouble figuring out if I'm at a space where I can put myself back out there.
Okay. Are you, do you have 2 devices going? No, okay, there was an echo, it's fine. Is any of your fear or concern about not being ready directly attached to him? Meaning, are you afraid you're not over him, or are you afraid that you are not just healed and prepared to date overall?
A little bit of both.
Okay, so let's talk about ways that you can ensure or figure out whether or not you're over him, okay? And I'm gonna tell you this as well. I have an ebook called Move On, Sis. If you're on my text list, I text you the link already. Because I've removed it from my bio, got too much stuff in my bio. If you don't have it, send me an email, info@alignwithallison, and I'll send you the free ebook. So I'm just gonna give you like the quick, and then you could read through the free ebook when you have a chance. So assessing whether or not you are ready to move on from him specifically, 2 points. Number 1, if when you drive by places that the 2 of you used to frequent, if you feel sadness other than, oh, that was a nice restaurant I used to go to, then you know that you're not over him. Second point of if you're not over him, when your phone rings or vibrates, for a second, you're hoping that it's him who's texting or calling you. So places that you frequent, if your heart drops when you see it, oh, that was our first date, I can't believe it, right? Versus, oh, that was our first date. The food was good there. Next, keep driving. Or when your phone vibrates or rings, you're hoping and praying that it's him who's calling. That's how you know whether or not you're still stuck on the guy, or if you're over the guy. Now, let's talk about healed in general, meaning that you went through a difficult heartbreak And so you're afraid that you're not prepared to start dating again because you're afraid that you'll get your heart broken again. Not about the guy, not attached to him. You don't give a F about him, but you're just afraid that maybe you won't give somebody a second chance. You won't give somebody a fair shake. You're not prepared to trust again because of how this other person treated you. This is what I would recommend. This is like the best litmus test of all time. Go on a date. If you haven't been on a date with a new guy yet, go on a date. When you go on this date and he is speaking to you, if he's talking to you and you keep thinking to yourself, I don't believe a word that he's saying. I'm looking at his ring finger and that ring finger looks like it's not tan. Maybe he took off his, if you are doubting everything that this gentleman is saying to you, that means that you have a trust issue. I mean, unless it's something that's outrageous, like, yeah, I'm the Prince of Egypt, right? But you know, I'm relatively speaking, I don't even know if he really worked that job. He said he got a good job. I don't even know. He said he the principal of that school. I don't believe that. He probably got a wife at home. He probably got, right? So if you're doubting just normal, regular conversation, go on one date. And if you're doubting everything this person is saying, that means that you have a trust issue, not necessarily attached to the man. How do you heal that trust issue? My recommendation is always, people YouTube it, Google it, get you a good therapist one good time. You could get you 1 session, 2 sessions, 3 sessions, and help them to let them help you to uncover the root of your trust issue, to process it so that you can move on accordingly. That would be our recommendation.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I hope that was helpful. Florence?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, how you doing?
Good.
Okay, so I have a question. How can you tell a guy that is physically, that wants you sexually, then versus that is interested in you?
That's an excellent question. I answered that question a while back. It was on my Instagram as a reel, but the way that I answered it, I'm trying to get my words right because I know what I want to say. If this gentleman is asking you to come to his home early and or often, then that means he wants to bed you. And that's his primary intention. Now, could feelings develop thereafter? It could, right? But we, unfortunately, it's ironic because men are the ones who chase us for sex and then shame us when we have sex with them. Nonetheless, we can't take chances. So we can't, all right, I'm gonna have sex with him and hope that it develops into something more. So if they are asking you to come to their home early on in the game, meaning date 1, date 2, date 3, and often after you've already said no, then that means that they probably only intend to have a sexual relationship with you and nothing more.
Okay.
Okay.
Gotcha.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Mary?
Hi, Alison. Thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. My question echoes the previous question a little bit, but I did just want to ask since I'm here still. I was in kind of a pretty serious relationship and it ended suddenly just a couple of days ago, which actually part of why I signed up for this. But I think my question is like, what are some of the initial steps that you recommend when it's like shocking or sudden or the breakup was unexpected?
Yes, excellent. One of my recommendations, which is also in the Move On ebook. So if I text you, you have it in your phone, but if you might have deleted or cleaned out your phone, just email me and I'll send you the link to the free ebook. So one of the recommendations that I have is that you do not check their social media at all whatsoever. Is he on social media?
No, he went off at the start of the year, so that's kind of nice.
Okay, well, good. The temptation's gone. Don't go on. If there were, for others who may be struggling with this, and I'll give you some more pointers, even though this doesn't directly impact you, Mary. There is nothing on there that you're going to see that's going to help you. If you go on there and he's crying because he's so sad and alone, that's not going to help. If he has a new girlfriend already, that's going to hurt your feelings. If he's having a good old time, you're going to be mad. There's nothing for you to see. Do not go on their social media. All right. So that doesn't impact you, Mary. Let me give you another one. You are going to end all relationships with anyone that you were connected to him and only because of him. So what do I mean by that? If you had a friend before meeting him. And then that friend became friends with him because y'all were together, fine. But his friends are not your friends. His mother is not your mother. His sister is not your sister's. His dog is not your dog. You are going to end all communication with anybody that you had a relationship with as a result of him. If he were not in the picture, you would have never had a relationship with these people. The reason why it's important that you cut these ties is because when you see them, you're going to be reminded of him. They may be tempted to be telling you his business. Oh, you know, my son, he just is a little crazy. Give him a second chance. Oh, you know, such and such, he's got a new girlfriend, so you need to have a new boyfriend. It's stressful. It's overwhelming. You need to end any and all communication and relationships with anyone that you have a relationship with as a result of him.
Okay.
Okay. The next thing is that whatever business you have together, tie all of it up and end all communication cold turkey. Meaning, if you have a savings account together, you need to close it up, wrap it up, split the money, figure it out. You have a dog, somebody's got to keep the dog, figure it out. You have things over there, he has things over there. I would ship it. I don't even want to see your face. Like, we need to go cold turkey so that you can move on as quickly as possible.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you so much, Alison.
Jen?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, thank you so much for this.
You're welcome.
So I was wondering, based on the situation with the doctor that you mentioned with the projects,
Yes.
so my ex was a project and I just want to try and avoid that. But my main, I guess, thing that I'm doing is grad school. So I put that in my bio whenever I'm online dating. And I feel like I keep attracting projects because a lot of it starts off with like, oh, wow, you're in grad school. That's so cool. And then I ask them what they're doing. And it doesn't feel like it's something that I'd be like happy with. So do you have any suggestions on how to like kind of avoid that?
So if you're paying for the app, many times they allow you in the preferences for you to check off levels of education. So if that's a non-negotiable of yours, which is this person has to attain a certain level of education, or you like to assume that if they have a certain level of education, then potentially they have a certain level of income, whatever that looks like for you. Then if you're paying for the app, in the preferences, you can check off that they must have some college, they must have a bachelor's, they must have a master's, whatever that looks like. That's one way. The second thing I would recommend is that you need to also take this outside, and you need to be socializing. And we're going to talk about this in depth tomorrow. You need to be socializing in spaces of like-minded people. So that means you need to be going to the national medical something. You need, whatever you're studying, the board of something. Like, go to places and spaces of people who have similar levels of education, similar interests, similar careers, so that you are meshing with, mixing with, socializing with, rubbing shoulders with like-minded folks who have a similar level of education.
Okay, that's helpful. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, Chantel, you're up next. Let me tell Instagram me, they're gonna about to time out on me. So I might as well wrap up nice and clean. The last 2 days, I didn't do a very good job. It just timed out, but I have 1 minute left. If you still would like to join the challenge, you can. We have one more day. Tomorrow's the day that everybody's been waiting for, even though they shouldn't, 'cause they don't listen. But tomorrow's the day that everybody's looking for, which is how to navigate dating both online and offline. So click the link in my bio and you can still join us tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern. Zoom, we are still on. Instagram, adios amigos. Bye. All right, come on, Zoomy. Chantel?
Yes. Hi, Allison. Thank you for taking the time out. I had a quick question. I recently talked to someone about maybe almost 2 months ago. I have children. He does not. He's starting the conversation off almost immediately about a time frame for having kids. And I feel like it's putting pressure because everything was kind of going decent with us communicating and everything. And now the conversations are pretty much about a family, because I think that he sees that I already have one. And he's, I guess, wondering when I'm going to add to his. And I'm wondering if I even should go ahead and proceed forward with that with him, or just go ahead and maybe leave it alone, because this expectation that he has is that, I guess, if everything goes well in the next few months, which is kind of what he said, that he would like to try. And I'm just like, that's a little crazy to me.
Mm-hmm. So your concern is that it seems like he's in a rush to have children,
Yes,
to
it's
build a family with you? How long have the two of you been seeing each other, either dating and or exclusive?
As far, I knew him back in high school. We just reconnected about 2 months ago. As far as like establishing a relationship, it's been like a month. And
Okay.
then almost immediately came the whole, I think also too, like with the whole sex thing, it came, oh, well, you know, do you mind having another kid? And I always said I didn't mind as long as I got married.
Mhm.
Because I didn't marry my kid's father. We never, we were engaged, but we never got married. So I've always stated that I didn't mind as long as I was married, and I would, you know, wouldn't mind giving my husband a child. But he's almost immediately, since we have started having sex, just been like, okay, well, things seem to be going good. We can figure things out. So now
He is
having,
scary. He is
yeah,
scary. He is scary. He is scary. Sounds like someone someone who wants to lock you in, lock you down, rope you in. Sounds like he wants to have unprotected sex with you and be able
correct.
to do his thing and then and even potentially run thereafter. He is scary business. I don't like how he's rushing things so quickly. If
Yeah,
he's making you feel uncomfortable, you need to go elsewhere. You need to move on.
okay.
Now, in all fairness to him, because I don't know him personally, this is based on a 30-second conversation. Did you ever tell him, hey, you know, the conversations about us having children so quickly, it makes me uncomfortable. I'm not prepared to take that next step. As I shared with you, I would not do it until I was married. Did you ever say, chill?
I definitely did. When he first mentioned it, I said, well, why is it so soon? Because he just came out of a 5-year relationship in January.
Mhm.
So the fact that, and then he honestly just told me this. I really probably do anything because I don't think that he's fully healed now that I know that he just got out of that relationship in January.
Mhm.
But they never had any kids or anything. And I'm just wondering, like, why are you putting the pressure on me so soon?
Yep.
And you're, you know, you were with someone just 5 years prior to myself, and y'all never had a scare or anything.
Mhm.
And they had kids as well. So I was
Yep.
just trying to figure out, like, why is it that you feel so comfortable with me? And he's like, oh, well, because I'm not going to keep wearing condoms. Like, you know,
Yep.
he's done with that. And
Yep. See, look,
yeah,
that's what I said. That's what it is. And
yeah,
then we don't know this guy. And then so what if he decides to run thereafter and now you're stuck making a
right.
different, you have the time, depending on what state you live in, now you're stuck making a tough decision. Or if you even have the option, no, thank you. He is scary business. Run. Run,
Yeah.
run, run, run for your
Thank
life.
you.
You're welcome, Love Muffin. L'Oreal? L'Oreal, you changed your mind, Love Muffin? It's a safe space if you change it.
I was talking. I forgot to unmute.
Oh, okay. Hi, what's up?
Hi. Quick question. So I know you said we should not rattle off our like non-negotiables. I've had guys on dates that ask me like, what are my non-negotiables? So what's a good way to respond?
You give them 2.
Okay.
So you guys know that I tasked you with 6, and make sure you have that homework for tomorrow when we actually go through like the dating apps and stuff. You know, I tasked you guys with 6. You're gonna give them 2. So Allison, what do you look? And they might be innocent. They might not even be trying to like dig and play games and be a chameleon. They're just asking questions. Right? So Allison, what are you looking for? You know, it's really important to me that my partner is hardworking and compassionate. Doesn't that sound like a complete answer?
Mm-hmm.
Right? What do you mean by that? Well, you know, hardworking, and I told you guys the whole story. I ain't gonna go waste y'all time again. Caribbean background, it's my culture. We value work, and then compassionate is it's important to me that my husband and start using that language too. By the way, it's really important to me that my husband is someone who's caring of others, is someone who is considering or considerate of the needs of others. 2, give them 2. So you answer their question. You're not lying. You're not being disingenuous, but you're not giving them the whole kit and caboodle. Because next thing you do come across the master manipulator who pretends to be one thing and then he's something else because you gave him all the answers to the test.
That's what I worry about. Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Chelsea?
Hi, Allison and everyone. Thank you. My question, so I know that 2 other young ladies have basically asked you something about the Move On Sis ebook. So mine might be kind of along those along those lines as well.
Mhm.
So basically knowing that, so say you have parents who have been married for like, they're a great example. They've been married for like 30 plus years.
Mhm.
So understanding that their story is not necessarily your story, like how they all got together and, how they dated and blah, 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 the little story. So how getting over your ex, like, are people like still like kind of wondering like, oh, well, we're still friends on Instagram. Well, maybe he'll reach out, or like, so how do you make yourself stop doing that?
It's a choice.
Mhm.
You choose, you resolve. You say, I am not going to go on this person's profile. You make a promise to yourself. I'm
Mhm.
not going to go. And you use logic, because if I go, what on there will make a difference? You tell me a circumstance. If he's there crying, oh my God, I miss Chelsea so much. How could she leave me? Is that going to make the difference of y'all getting back together? And let me tell you why it shouldn't, in case it does. If you say, well, Alison, he's apologetic. Well, guess whatever y'all problem wasn't his inability to apologize. Whatever the problem was lying, cheating, manipulation, whatever it was. So an Instagram post of, oh my God, Chelsea's the most beautiful woman I ever had in my life, and I can't believe I fumbled her, doesn't fix whatever was wrong, right? If he's posting, he's having a good time with his friends, it's gonna piss you off. He having a good time with his friends, and you here on a Zoom on a Wednesday night with me trying to figure out right? If he's ghosted, now is where is he and what is he doing? There is no circumstance, there's not a post on earth that's gonna make you feel, and forget about if you got a new girl. Then it's gonna be, oh, I knew that chick was always into him. She was always in my face. Let me go and check the timeline and see if that's his girlfriend already. Then that means he was already dealing with her. There is nothing on that account that's going to make a difference in your relationship or your feelings. If not, it's going to piss you off more. So logic says, I'm going to stay off because it's of no benefit to me. And you decide that you're going to stay off.
Okay, so yeah, so it is like ridiculously weird to still be friends with your ex on social media at all. Like that's still.
I don't think so. I think if it doesn't bother you.
Okay.
If it doesn't bother you and it doesn't bother him and y'all all good, then who cares, right? If it bothers you to see what he has going on, which, as I said, every post should bother you if you're still bothered, right? So if you're bothered, this thing not charged? Man, I did what I was supposed to do. I plugged this up when I was supposed to. Stop playing. All right, it's okay. It's my last question. If you're bothered by it, then you should mute. Maybe you don't unfollow. I don't like giving people the satisfaction of letting them think that I'm bothered. So I'm just going to mute you. That way I didn't unfollow you, so you think that I'm all good, but yet I don't have to see your stuff, and I'm never going to search your name, because again, there is nothing on that profile that will make me feel better. So why bother?
Yes, you're right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right, beautiful people, we are going to wrap up here. You are off for your homework for tonight. So what you're going to do is you're going to meet me back here 7 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, where we're going to go through dating apps and we're going to go through in-person interactions. Which dating apps are going to be the right ones depending on your region, how to create a winning dating profile, and how to position yourself in person for you to be approached. Okay, that's what we're going to cover tomorrow. And as I speak, you're going to need to have your homework from day 1 and day 2 in order for you to begin to successfully create your profile and begin to attract the right people and repel the wrong ones. All right. It has been a pleasure, beautiful people. I will see you tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern. As I mentioned yesterday, all of the links for these meetings, the recordings will be available by Monday. All right. Love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow.